a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. You got to laugh a little, cry a little, until the crowds go by. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. As long as there's the two of us, we got the world and all its charms. And when the world is through with us, we got each other's arms. We're not vegetarian, we're octogenarian. This is the story of where we've been. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Now, Larry and I met in our teens, and we've been together many, many years. And today, we've invited you here to celebrate with us.
Celebrate, it cost a lot of money, please appreciate it. If you don't mind. So before we start our story, we want to tell you the story of this place. I'm sure you know where you are. What was here in the 50s? Roland Hills, right here. Yeah. And we would come down here, Denise and I and the kids, which we'll talk about, and they had an infernal machine in here. Mm-hmm. And that infernal machine was called a fluoroscope. It was an X-ray machine. And if you can believe it, I think you do, they didn't know it, but I did some work on it. Radiation was spewing out everywhere from those machines. They didn't have a clue how to contain it. So nobody knew what was happening to their feet. But before that store was here, there was, by the way, I wanted to tell you, there was a hotel. I don't know if you remember, Hawthorne's Hotel. I had not known that when I was doing this research. And it was quite a major hotel for its time. So we went to stick our feet into these machines, and they were quite beautiful, really. There's some of the shoes from Roland Hills. Take a look.
$2.99 for a pair. Aren't they ugly, though?
Oh.
They are.
I like to think they're sturdy.
Yeah.
A good pair of men's shoes was $9.95. I looked it up. So we would come down and we would see these, look at this beautiful machine. I mean, I would put this in my rec room. And you would go up, and if you can direct your attention to the top right, you'll see what went on. The salesman looked down through, Mom looked, and the kids looked. And at the bottom, you got a great look of the skeleton of your feet. And in St. Thomas, I would go to Raven's Shoe Store. And I was one of the, kids wanted to go to the shoe store because these were our moving pictures. You wiggled your toes in there, and you could all look down. Meanwhile, God knows what was happening to you.
Now, I'd take the girls there. It was such a thrill because it was up here. The children's department was the only store that had a special children's department. So we'd come up the stairs here, and all these machines were out here. All right, try these on. Oh, click, click. No, too tight. Another pair, click, click. Oh, too big. On and on, click and click. Now, I know, so my kids might have a few extra toes, but so what?
Yeah, big deal, big deal.
Yeah. Now, Larry and I, well, first of all, I heard Larry sing before I met him through the halls of St. Joe's High School. And the school was right beside the church, Holy Angels Church. And now the church is still there, but the school is gone, like the song goes. They put up a parking lot.
There were probably about, I don't know, I couldn't find out how many people were in my high school, but I think there must have been 100. It sat right across from a pool hall, Kitchen's pool hall. And at noon, we would spill out of the high school, cross Talbot Street, rush into the pool hall with our bologna sandwiches. And our principal, Sister Clara, believe it or not, had an agreement that at 10 to 1, Ken Kitchen got us out of there. And so if I was playing a game and I had only one ball left and I could win 15 cents, and just before I'd shoot, all right, all you St. Joe's kids, out of here, out of here. And he'd flick the lights and we would go tumbling out of across the street, and Sister Clara would be at the door. We were all underage. You could never see that today, but it's a great memory that I have of that.
Now, when we met, I was 14 and Larry was 13. Now, we know today what a cougar is. It's an older woman getting a younger man. Well, I know, this was 1952. I was the very first cougar, for sure. And you know what? I went, down for
I didn't know what to make of this country girl, you know?
I hung on and I
Yeah.
hung on, and I brought him up the way I wanted him.
Yeah.
He never knew what was going on, and he still doesn't know. He got scars.
I still got the claw marks on my arm.
Now, let's see. You remember you fell in love with me, Larry? You want to talk about that? It says right here that.
Sits right here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I fell in love with him. We've only been married like 57 years, but I did fall in love with her. And I don't know if any of you have had this happen, but I was 13 in grade 9, just turned 13, and I saw this shy country girl, and I knew that was it. I'm sure back then I didn't say that, but something happened. And so I believe in that, because I was smitten. That was it. I had found my cougar.
Now, we were both from large families. I'm from a big French-Canadian family. I'm the 13th one of 14 children. And Larry was from a big Irish family. He's the 6th of 8 children. Now, in a family like that, sometimes you can feel invisible. And so, but if you were bad or if you were sick, you got a lot of attention. So I discovered that I could get attention by making people laugh. And I had fun doing it. So everybody had a way to get attention. And
So I saw this shy country girl come in on the yellow school bus. And I was a big shot town kid. And she was very quiet around the school, kind of shy. And then I was invited to their house on a farm near Sparta, Ontario, a tobacco farm. Yay, I think we have some here. And I was invited to a party at their house. Now, when you got invited to a party at their house, there were 6 beautiful girls. By the way, some of them are here today. And they were protected by quite the gauntlet that you had to pass through. So how would you like to open the door and see something like that waiting for you?
now, at these parties, Papa, my dad, he would come around with a little shot of alcohol. Now, that alcohol was 100% whiskey, 100% alcohol, and it was called Whiskey Blanc. So you come to the party, you got one little shot, and then all hell broke loose. Yeah. And he didn't have an open bar. He didn't allow that. But everybody took their turn, and he controlled the party. So there were no drunks, and we had
I
a
don't know
good
about
time.
that. It's not how I remember it. So there would be singing, there would be dancing. It was quite a
Cool.
cacophony of things going on at their house.
Shot there.
Holy mackerel. That's her dad, Freddie. And everybody took their turn. People could walk on their hands. They could pick up a chair, you know that one, hold chairs up, whatever they could balance, play the piano, play spoons, play pots and pans. It didn't matter. It was going on at that house. And then I looked over in the corner and I saw this sight. And I thought, what's going on over here? Somebody's making out in the house. Hey, stay away from that bottom part. So who did it turn out to be? My shy country girl. And she wasn't done there.
A drum roll.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the flying elbows. Could we hear it for the flying elbows? Thank you, Mark. Now, I was pretty straight-laced. I think the whole Catholic thing, the French seem to take religion as it's there, but you don't really have to pay a lot of attention.
Come on, don't tell stories of it.
But Irish Catholics, it hung over us. And so I was pretty straight-laced. And I found out that this woman was not straight-laced. If anything, her laces were undone. But I finally started to loosen up a little, and this was one of my first parlor tricks, which I'm proud to show you today. I got 1, 2, 3 spoons on my face. So that's the extent. I know. Don't be too impressed. Don't be too impressed. There's Lauren, I think, down there.
Yeah.
My granddaughter. She's trying to not be embarrassed by it all.
Okay, so now we are going to play tribute to some of the that music of the 50s. Those crooners, there were lots of crooners.
The crooner generation was just passing us by, and my brothers were great singers. I could hear them singing the old songs,
like Dean Martin.
When the moon hits your eye like a baby, you know the one. Yeah.
That's amore.
Yes.
And then there was Perry Como.
Hot diggity, dog diggity, boom, what you do to me. I never knew what that meant. And,
there was Doris Day with K, said all, whatever will be, will be. Yes.
But across the lake,
Just a minute. I can't miss. This is the song by Tony Bennett, my favorite that he was singing before I met him.
I know I'd go from rags to riches if you would only say you care. Does that make your heart beat?
Yeah. Oh, it does. It still does. But now, then, we were going steady. It was the thing to do. You went steady. But the parents and the nuns and the priests, they kept an eye on us. But when Nat King Cole sang, he seemed to express exactly how we were feeling in our hearts.
They tried to tell us we're too young to really be in love. They say that love's a word we've only heard, and can't begin to know the meaning of. yet we're not too young to know. This love will last though years may go. And then someday they may recall we were not too young at all. You go back to that was a great word to have that on, recall. Anyway, the music was coming over the lake. We were really privileged that we were very close to the birth of rock and roll, which was Cleveland. And we had Alan Freed, and we had the great black R&B artists. And we knew something was cooking. We could hear the Clovers sing Shaboom before the Crew Cuts ever heard of Shaboom. We could hear Big Joe Turner, Little Richard was coming. There was something happening to music, and we were trying to catch on to it as it came through. The great rockers came, Jerry Lee Lewis. By the way, Jerry Lee Lewis is still alive. Mm-hmm. He's 84 years old, and we hope he keeps going. We had Chuck Berry. He lasted forever. He was an octogenarian rocker. It's funny, you know, maybe we'll keep up this rock stuff. We might get another 10 years here.
No, 20. We'll
20, maybe 20, yes.
Now, the music of the 30s and 40s was dreamy, and then you had the big bands like Benny Goodman and Johnny Dorsey, and but suddenly the 50s came with this wild, very different, loud, crazy music. It seemed to come from another world. And one of those wild guys that led the way is right here.
Yes, we underappreciated Fats Domino. As I've been looking into it, he was very respected by the rockers that came after him. But he was very shy, very unassuming. But if you remember, he had this playful, as Mark tells me, a rolling stride. Mark, is that it? By the way, Mark Smith, our musical director. And he had a playful rocking style that was almost infectious. You couldn't sit when you heard Fats Domino. His pianos were lost in Katrina. It was thought that Fats died, by the way, and they were frantically looking for him, and somebody had taken him already to safety. I believe he moved right out of the state. But eventually they found his two pianos. He had a white baby grand and a black grand, and they tried to put them together as best they could. Paul McCartney led that movement to get Fats's piano. So you see them there. This is a museum on the right, and that's how they display it. Isn't that interesting how they did that? Mm-hmm. And then on the left, there's not much left of the white one, that's for sure. But let's hear a bit of Fats and let's pay tribute to him. Mark Smith.
I'm walking, yes indeed I'm talking about you and me. I'm hoping that you'll come back to me. Yeah, I'm lonely as I can be. I'm waiting for your company. I'm hoping that you'll come back to me. What you gonna do when the well runs dry? You gonna run and play and hide. I'm gonna run right by your side. For you, pretty baby, I'll even die. I'm walking, yes indeed, I'm talking about you and me. I'm hoping that you'll come back to me.
Bill Haley brought us Shake, Rattle, and Roll, but it really was Elvis that showed us how to shake, rattle, and roll. Now, I saw Elvis in Buffalo in 57. Celine and I were there. What we want to know is if you could guess. And isn't there a prize, Larry?
There is a pair of shoes we found backstage
Oh, yeah,
from Rolling Hills.
there's quite a few of them.
Now, they're very strange kind of things emanating from them. You're welcome to try them.
All right, let's have some guesses.
I want to know what you
What do you
paid
think I paid?
at the Buffalo Auditorium where the old Buffalo hockey team play. $225
All
fees we
right,
have
what do
here.
we hear over there?
Are you seeing something up there?
You got X-ray eyes, Sue. I think you do.
Any other guesses? You saw Elvis when he was really rocking it. $7?
Okay.
Anybody
Five,
else?
did you say over here? Five in the front
I
here.
think we have a winner here.
Really?
$275.
She's got
I
the
think.
closest.
Two-
Selena and I paid,
dun, dun,
first year
dun, dun,
teachers
dun,
paid
dun.
exactly $1.75.
You imagine
Now, us girls,
seeing him for...
yeah, Selena and I, our tickets were paid for us because they wanted us to, this one woman, she didn't want to go, she asked us to take her daughter. We said, okay, we'll go. And we thought we were professional, we were teachers, we weren't going to scream. Well, as soon as we saw him, we screamed in our reversible skirts and twirled around in those poodle skirts. We were crazy like all the rest of them.
Following
Now-
that, another trend came through.
Look
Oh,
at
by the way, that I want you to appreciate that if you would. That shot of Elvis, doesn't he look young? And he looks
Sandals.
so small and young. And I have no clue why he's wearing sandals with white socks. Was he making a fashion statement? I don't know. But I think that what do you think? I think he's around 17. And the kid on the right has got the white tie on. It's a great picture. The next trend that came through was the folk music trend. I was trying to catch on to that train, but I couldn't play.
Excuse me, sir. What happened to Mama? Mama Thornton's coming up here.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
have you done the Kingston Trio yet?
No,
Oh.
you got to get Mama in here.
You can tell a couple seniors are doing this show. All right.
Mama Thornton, you can't forget her.
Who am I again?
You're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
Mama Thornton and
Oh, yeah.
Hound Dog.
First of all, I want to know, you to see that Elvis appreciated Fats Domino. And he did speak of him so highly, and that's why I wanted you to see this picture of the two of them. Now, Elvis's first hit was called Hound Dog in 1952. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, trying all the time, you know the one. But it's interesting in the story of music to track that song. That song was written by two young Jewish writers from Tin Pan Alley, Stoller and Lieber. I believe there were 23, and they were the first Tin Pan Alley writers to appreciate rock and roll. And so they wrote the original Hound Dog, not for Elvis, but for a great black R&B artist who I remember dimly because I had one brother, Leon, who liked this stuff. And her name was Big Mama Thornton. And anybody remember Big Mama? Anyway, it goes back, doesn't it? But she rocked Hound Dog. But her version couldn't get on big time radio. So you had to go to the black radio stations to hear it. But Elvis really appreciated that music. So if you'll see what her original lyrics were. You've been snooping around my door. I love the one you can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. Yeah. So Elvis went with his management at that time, went to the big record companies and said, "You're not singing that. That's not going to happen. It won't pass muster." So they went to Stoller and Lieber, and told them they had to change it, and they didn't like it. So they just almost put words in a pail in a bucket and shook them up. And now you'll see what they wrote. I'll never forget the immortal line, "You ain't never caught a rabbit, but you ain't no friend of mine." I remember walking around thinking, there must be some hidden meaning to that. We did not catch rabbits. But it's interesting how in the history of music, you have to go back to those great artists, then they weren't accepted fully and how things changed. And that song, Hound Dog, is a great sample of what happened to music. Ed Sullivan, of course, would not put Elvis on his show until he agreed they could only shoot him from the waist up. And I remember, there'll be some here, I ran home. We didn't have to run home, it was Sunday night. And the black and white TV, kind of gray spots on it. It had, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen." And tonight, the great he didn't know who Elvis was, he just knew he was a big seller. Elvis Presley. And they shot him that way. Steve Allen was a night host that we kind of liked. He was kind of cool, we thought. He was a jazz man, but I find out that he hated rock and roll. And he thought Elvis was a scourge. But they told him, you have to have him on. He's climbing the charts. So some of you will know what Steve Allen did to him. He made him sing to a hound dog. And Elvis was so humiliated and so embarrassed by what happened there. And he kind of swore to himself that he'd never let that happen again. Sadly, you know that he did let it happen again. He went to Vegas. But he had that spark of greatness, and they just tried to shape him and reshape him. And here's what Steve Allen made him do.
Okay, now you can have this.
Now I can go to the folk music movement. The next trend that came along was the folk trend. And I wanted to be in the gang, but I have fat fingers, and I couldn't play a six string, and
They want to see this here.
I couldn't afford a six string. So I noticed in this picture, Nick Reynolds. He's on the right. And Nick Reynolds, what's he got there? I thought, and it turns out it's a tenor guitar. And it only has 4 strings. So I thought, whoopee, that's for me. And this guitar you're looking at, I think, is 1958. And it's been banged around, and as some of you will know out there, and pounded on the back. But, you know, like Denise and I, it ain't bad. It's not bad.
A few cracks,
A few fissures. And so I took up, and many of you will know what song they had. Why it became a hit, I'll never understand, because it was a mountain song.
And you needed help, though, remember?
And this is tied around here, so
You still need help.
yeah, let's get that out.
You need help.
There you go. No, it's gone out of tune, so.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. We sang their hit song, Tom Dooley. And it seemed like every party you went to, you were singing Tom Dooley. We tried to buy Paisley shirts and so on and look cool. And we sang the song.
All right, see, this one's on you.
Yeah, look at this.
This one's
Okay.
good. No, you do it. I'm not doing it.
Oh my God, you're no help. What's that? Hang down your head, Tom Dooley.
Change.
Hang down your head and cry.
Change.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die.
Change.
This time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be.
Change.
Hadn't it been for Grayson, I'd be in Tennessee. Well, now, boy,
Change.
hang down your head,
Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry.
Here's some harmony out there.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley.
Dooley, poor boy, you're bound to die. Let's do another one.
This time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be.
Down in.
Down in some lonesome valley, hanging from the white oak tree.
Well now, boy,
Hang down your head, Tom
Dooley,
Hang down your head and cry.
well now,
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die.
Poor boy, you're bound to die. Poor boy, you're bound to die. Yeah, we finally got it. We finally got it.
I think, okay. We go to Montreal now, right?
All right, this is a great one. We're talking about influences in our lives, and as you can see, we have to remember the influences. I went to the wrong condo last night, so
I was looking all over for him.
anyway, where were we? Montreal. So another, my family knows this. A great influence on us musically was our Uncle Cease, and he and his wife Madeline, my dad's sister, were a graceful, beautiful, generous-hearted couple, and all of us, I think, will agree we wanted to be like them, the way they treated each other, and the way he had a light touch on the piano. And the way he liked all kinds of music. He was open to Elvis. He was open, if you went sang Elvis, he could play it. He played show tunes. He played on riverboats in the St. Lawrence. He sang in both cities of Toronto and Montreal. Was invited to many company parties. On his own was a very successful salesperson. But he knew Toronto when it was called Toronto the Good. And that meant it was buttoned up. There was no booze. There was no much nightclubs, and there was no fun. And Montreal, on the other hand, was called Sin City, which that was before Vegas. It was called Sin City. And from this song, Cease wrote songs. So to share his song with you today, you'll learn pretty quickly which city Cease liked. It's called The Road to Montreal. There's a pretty little city, and it sits beside a lake, and that pretty little city just gives me a bellyache.
It has most impressive buildings, many parks and playgrounds too. But after 9 o'clock at night time, there's not a doggone thing to do.
We are talking about Toronto. What a lousy joint, Toronto. You can go there if you want to. We don't want to go at all. You can take that place, Toronto. Shove it up the lake, Toronto. The only good thing about Toronto is the road to Montreal. Uncle Cease. You go ahead. Now Denise has given us many surprises, and she still continues. Easy now. Who yelled more? Hey, hey, hey! Mark, what's going on? Hey, that's enough. That's new.
Yeah, I started taking tap dancing lessons. I got a really good deal.
But you only have one shoe on.
It was a half price sale. That was the deal. Yeah.
Must have been Black Friday.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop there. She's also taking up the harmonica. This is what they call an active senior.
All right, now you have to play Name That Tune, and you name it, okay?
Should I call EMS or anything? I will. Oh, cool.
Okay. As seniors. I think I'll sit down. Okay, are you coming, Larry, today? God. Okay, so, yeah, I've been trying to learn this harmonica, and it's tricky, very. I don't have to get my own body. Okay, we're good. Name that tune. You can't laugh. Okay.
Denise.
Yes.
High on the right. Remember, high on the right.
Who knew? Okay.
There we go.
Where seldom is heard of discouraging word, and the sun doth not be all day. Oh, on the rain, the deer and the antelope play. Where seldom is heard of discouraging word, and the flies are outside the always. Hang down your head, River Valley, when the cowboy runs. Oh, it doesn't end there. Excuse us. What is this? This is. There. I think what we just did was illegal. There you go. A new skill is what we're trying to get to here. Ready?
Name that tune.
Oh, Susanna, oh, won't you cry for me? She's the epitome of what is they call about active seniors, you know, keep going. Mostly I just laugh. My dad was a railroader. He worked at the New York Central in St. Thomas. He worked on big steam engines, and he was a pipe fitter. He would walk home at night, coming down Yarwood Street, and he would carry a lunch pail, as I remember. And we knew in the street, 8 kids, we'd be in other people's backyards, of course, or sometimes around the neighborhood. But we knew it was time to start coming home when we saw him walking down there. And he was a hard-working man. I think for his generation, work was almost sacred. It was almost a sacrament. It was a great compliment to be called a hard worker. And he was that, and he took pride in that. He had tools in the basement. I had no clue what they did. But most of his tools were human powered, and they were huge, big tools that you could hardly lift. You need to be a weightlifter. So I had a heart attack. I didn't have a heart attack. I had aortic valve problems and got that replaced. But during that, I thought about him. He died when he was 59. I don't think he would have died today at that age because they have so much that they can do. But I think about him and Mom Loretta. She was at home with 8 kids, and she was the heartbeat of the house. And the two of them together, I thought as their generation, they built Canada. You don't get enough credit that those people who came through like that. So I see him more and more in the mirror now. And this song I wrote for him with a tip of the cap to Michael Peter Smith. I brought my father with me. I hope that you don't mind. I couldn't find it in me to make him stay behind. Tonight the snow is falling, the trees are white and old, their heavy branches bending. Can we come in from the cold? I brought my father with me, though it's been many years. Train trips to Detroit, Mom's lunch and Tiger cheers. Haircuts in the basement, they stung the rest of the day. I brought my father with me. Turnabout's fair play. He loved to hear the singing of each night's kitchen crew. Then round the bed for rosary, we knelt down 2 by 2. He loved his dear Loretta. She was always at his side. They faced the world together. Through times they laughed and cried. Sometimes I hear his whistle as darkness gathers round. Close up the doors and windows. We're all home safe and sound. Tonight the winds of heaven turn the clouds across the sky. I brought my father with me. I couldn't say goodbye tonight. The winds of heaven blow the stars across the sky. I brought my father with me. I couldn't say goodbye.
Okay.
Is it need, do you need your glasses?
I do. Okay.
Yes.
We do the
Pass.
bars. We talk about the bars, the famous bars.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, no, just, yes, the bars. We're at the
Yes.
bars. Uh-huh. London in the 50s had the 3 famous bars, and we want you to name that bar now. Let's see if you can do that.
Well, this one will be hard.
That's hard.
Anybody with bad eyesight there back there?
All right. That was on Dundas near the river more.
By the way, I always remembered that as more opulent than that. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, the next one is name that bar. Thank
The
you.
Brass
Good
Rail.
eyesight there, yeah. Now this next one is our favorite because Celine and I had an apartment above this bar. Oh yeah, right at
Yeah.
the corner. It was actually kind of where Bud Gowan or right near Clarence, and very close to Dundas and Clarence. And we became very good friends with the bartender and the bouncers.
Yeah.
The bouncers were our personal protectors.
Yeah. I didn't fool with those guys, I'll tell you. And somebody remind me, where did Rampant Ronnie Hawkins play? The Brass Rail, yeah. And that was the genesis of the band, right? Robbie Robertson. And we forget Robbie Robertson, Levon Helm. They were here. They played that pub. Yes, so.
So then,
At Campbell's,
Yeah.
Campbell's was a jazz bar, more, and you could, mostly, I don't know how we got in so much, we were underage, but we seemed to get into everything. And I had a jazz in my family, I liked it, and I would go and listen to the greats. They would come from Detroit and come through, going to Cleveland, Buffalo, and they'd stop in London. And one of the greats that I saw there was the divine Sarah Vaughan. And I was so lucky. And then I heard her duet with Billy Eckstein. Billy Eckstein had the marvelous, mellifluous bass voice, and his hit was called I Apologize, and some of you will remember. And the two of them wrote a song that has been kind of a marker in our lives about how our coupleness is going. And so we'd like to do it for you.
you want to sip here? I think you should have a sip.
I'm okay.
Yes, I brought you some water.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It is dry in here. As I say, this song is important to us.
We were married at 21 and 22, very young. We didn't know what we were doing. Still don't most of the time.
Hey,
But there were times in our lives, in our marriage, where we were lonely and you just couldn't understand it. Why? And we were like living in a boarding house, not a home. And our life was like passing strangers.
it seems we're passing strangers now. Funny how things can change. We were so inseparable. Now you're acting very strange. The hands I used to touch won't even wave hello. How I need your touch, you'll never know. If you would only turn to me, speak my name just once more, you might find right there and then strangers can be lovers again. Passing strangers. Now we go from passing from the sublime to the ridiculous, actually. How many of you can, well, surely I don't have to ask the question. What do we have here? The dreaded hospital gown. And you get this when you go to the hospital. It turns, I sit there with a lot of white-haired old guys, and we try to get these bloody things on. And sometimes I can't get it over all my machinery down here. The pants are too narrow. Oh, hey! Jeez, the machine. Anyway, you know, some of you will remember. Why am I looking at it? Some of you will know what I mean. It doesn't pull across, and so and what it does, you just become names, if that, in the hospital. There are movements today. If you go online and plug in hospital gowns, you'll be amazed at what's happening. In the West, they're doing away with these things. They feel it dehumanizes people and makes them nameless in the hospital. And Alberta has started the movement here, and there's some in the States. But I'd like to start a movement, if you'd like to join me, and we're going to try. Canada is a world leader in inventions. So can't we do something about this? And I think we can start here. After the show, we'll march out onto the Flex Street, and we'll be the first protest in London. So I've written our marching song, and you can see if you wish to join me. Are you the nurse or what?
Yes.
Oh, yes, right, you are. Okay,
Remember me?
Here's my band.
Okay.
All right, this is our song. Well, around the world they stand in awe. Canada's own wonder bra. The bloody Caesar gets us on our way. Superman and the Canada Arm, we have saved the world from harm. Why can't we invent a new hospital gown? Hospital gown, hee-haw! Hospital gown, hee-haw! It's a bugger to get the thing tied down. You have to work from front to back. Oh no, you're showing your bum. Oh boy. Hospital gown. Yeah. These are words I'm proud to utter. We gave the world peanut butter. Pablum, Poutine, the walkie-talkie too. Everywhere in the world we've been, we are famous for insulin. Come on! A new hospital gown. Here we go. Hospital gown. Hee-haw. Hospital gown. Hee-haw. It's a bugger to get the thing tied down. Hee-haw. You have to work from front to back. Oh no, you're showing your bum. Oh, hospital gown. Then mashed potatoes came around. The hard jock strap keeps things safe and sound. the cocking gun and the Robertson screw. The first wheelchair accessible bus. That's something that came from us. We can do it. A new hospital gown. Yee-haw! Hospital gown. Yee-haw! Hospital gown. Yee-haw! It's a bugger to get the thing tied down. You have to work from front to back. Oh no, it's showing your bum. Oh no, hospital gown. What more? Oh no, hospital gown. Thank you very much. Thank you. Following the show, we will march.
Yes. Oh, la-di-da-di-da.
What's going on over here?
La-di-da. You
I've
get
ne-
out of there. Get out.
I've never seen you cook before.
Hey, you get back to bed.
It's Cookie's my dying wish.
The doctor said you were to stay in bed.
Oh, please let me get one here.
They're not for you. They're for your funeral.
Just a little bit of George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Ladies and gentlemen, they don't know.
Don't
No,
know
what?
what.
Someone please tell them
Tell us
Tell
what.
us what.
that you are old.
We are?
We are.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. How did that happen?
I don't know.
I think we were napping. Okay. Now,
I think you're doing your French heritage.
yeah, I know, but where is it? Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there it is.
Oh, that's why I can't think I got an apron on.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go together. My kids will tell you that's the truth. You know, when we were growing up in our home, our dad especially, he said, this is a French home, and we speak French and only French. So we did. And so when Celine and I got our first teaching jobs as French teachers, we went and found Dad and we said, merci beaucoup, Papa. Because of you, we have this French teaching jobs. So there is something that we do. We've been doing it a long time, and I want to share this with you today. It's a kind of a miraculous medical cure. We've been using it all of our lives. And since I've incorporated Larry, I showed him how to incorporate it in his life, life's been great. Am I right? Oh, yeah, okay. It's something. It's guaranteed to you get rid of your anxieties, all your fears, your tension, your stress is gone. You can throw out your pills. And it's called, we call it in French, lâcher son fou. Let go of your crazies. If you do that once in a while, as we've been doing here all day, you feel refreshed, you're a new person. So I want you to help me today. And I want you to, first of all, répéter, lâcher mon fou. Oh, come on, more goom. Lâcher mon fou. Now, I know there's a lot of foo, and that means let go of your crazies. There's been a lot of foo. I felt the foo around here today. There's foo everywhere. Let's get rid of it. And you're going to learn with me today. Just sing along, and in French, you don't need the word, just follow me. Repeat what I say. Now, we're going to sing about this little guy in Quebec, the carnival guy, Bonhomme, and you'll just see, you walk out of here, you'll be dancing down Flex Street. Yeah, but let me go first, okay? All right, now, here we go. Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Sais-tu jouer de cette flûte-là? Flûte de cette flûte-là. I want to see your arms moving. Bonhomme, tu ne peux mettre dans ta maison quand nous y sommes. Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Sais-tu jouer de ce piano-là? Plinka, plinka, ce piano-là. Flûte de ce flûte-là. Bonhomme, tu ne peux mettre dans ta maison quand nous y sommes. Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Bonhomme, bonhomme, sais-tu jouer? Sais-tu jouer de ce piano-là? Zing, ding, ding de ce piano-là. Plinka, plink de ce piano-là. Flûte de ce flûte-là. Bonhomme, tu ne peux mettre dans ta maison quand nous y sommes. Could see that food flying all around. It was great.
We watch Sunday morning, particularly Sunday morning TV. I don't know why, but there are a lot of drug meds on there. I think seniors must watch those shows. And what I find interesting is the way they shoot those commercials. Let's call the meds Regano, after me. All right? Regano. It's on sale after. And here's the fellow usually before he takes Regano. I'm not sure she even likes him, actually. And he looks like a lot of bad things are happening to him. That's Uncle Bill. But then he gets Regano. And you'll see him in the next slide. There he is dancing in the carport there. Kids flying around. He seems to have taken a lot of meds, by the way. Yeah. But after those commercials, there will come a steady stream of side effects. And it's almost hypnotic. You know, it'll say you'll grow a left ear if you take too much of this. You're going to have 6 toes if you take that. Watch out if diabetes. And it's rhythmic. And I thought, by gosh, that's a rap song. So today, hey, easy. Don't get excited.
Is that supposed to be closed for rap?
No, it looks better. It's senior rap.
Oh.
As one wag put it, geezer rap. Anyway, this is my homage to rap and side effects, and I'm hoping it'll go a long way. I'm looking for a record contract if anybody's here. So you may have seen they're filming at the back. That's for later they're going to edit in drugs and sex, and then it's going to be a big hit. Yeah. So let's see. You need to help me as I go. It's the side effects, by the way, of the actual drug I take. After I heard the side effects one day, I went and looked up a drug. The side effects went for 2.5 pages. And by number, there were 84, from most to less severe. And then I looked up aspirin. You wouldn't believe aspirin, what it had. Anyway, this is one I take. What can I tell you? I don't want to give the name because I might get sued. I think there might be a drug rep in here. It rhymes with a travelin'. I'll tell you that. Here it goes. Anyway, it's called Side Effects. Could become uncoordinated, gain weight, pink-eyed, constipated, dizzy, drowsy, red-eyed too. You get demented and you don't know who. Decreased blood platelets. Who wants that in their lives? And that's not all. There's giant hives. Puffy face and watery tension, anxiety causing tension, I forget the rest of that word. Dizzy, drowsy. You can get infection. You can lose that erection. Dizzy, drowling, and whirling ears. They're all adding to our fears. You know, it doesn't put your mind at ease when the side effects are worse than the disease. This will go on sale. I need a nickname from you, like, Puff Daddy or Puff Larry, might be more like it.
Hey, Larry.
Yes.
Do the rap too.
Pardon?
Oh, we're going to do the rap together,
Oh,
honey.
wow, we want
Yeah,
you
you
to,
put your hat back on.
we want you to be the first group, this is for the Guinness Book of Records, the largest group to sing a senior rap song. So we've put up the words for you. If you don't mind, if we have your permission, we will, I don't know if we'll list all of you on the radio, there's too many of you.
And
But anyway,
I'll lead.
all right, here
We'll do
goes.
this.
Okay.
Here we go. And
Could become uncoordinated, gain weight,
Big guy,
constipated,
maybe
dizzy, drowsy, mouth come dry.
concentrate when you don't know why. Decreased blood thickness,
Laughing their lives.
but that's not all.
there's giant highs, envy, from water retention, anxiety causing lots of tension. You can get infection or lose that erection, whirling, spinning, and ringing ears. They're all adding to our fears. Really doesn't put your mind at ease when the side effects are worse than disease. Bravo!
Okay, I'll bring it over. You go over.
No, this is Joe Cocker.
Oh, you're staying right
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Another artist that, hope I'm on there. Another artist that we've always enjoyed is Joe Cocker. And 50 years ago, he was at Woodstock. And his huge hit, with a little help from my friends, he covered the Beatles song. Another song that we love very much, and I admired. I always admired Joe. As he got older, Joe had extreme stage fright. And what he would do, as you know, Joe, he used his body to tell the song. And they asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm trying to have all of me tell the writer's song." I was privileged to see Joe Cocker. And one of the songs for Denise and I, in tribute to Joe and to Denise, who's foo, he let his foo out. You can see that. And Denise lets her foo out. You are so beautiful. To me, you are so beautiful. To me, boo. To me, can't you see? You're everything that I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. Such warmth and happiness. You bring, yes you do, such warmth and happiness. You bring, just like a dream. guiding light. You're my star in the night. You're everything to me. You are so beautiful to me.
Thank you. Every wife needs to hear that at least once a month. No, once a week, once a day.
I don't know in the condo what they'd make of that, you know. To close tonight, we want to pay tribute to another artist that's been important to us in our life. We saw him in the Stork Club in 1955. The Stork Club is a pavilion on Lake Erie near Port Stanley. Many of you here know it. And great artists came through there. And when I was 16, I loved Louis. I mean, great rockers were coming. But Louis said to me, it's going to be all right. And the night we went to see him, Denise and I don't know, we were 14 or something. How in God's name we ever got in there? And I went behind the stage. You could go behind the stage and walk through. And as I got around there, and I sensed somebody. And I moved over and I saw the embers of his cigarette. And it was Louis Armstrong, standing all by himself, no posse, no guards, a working stiff, having a cig. I never forgot that. And he brought us all so much happiness.
Now, the Stork Club was right on the lake, right on Lake Erie. So you'd go with your date, you'd shoes in hand with your date, that you'd walk along the beach, and then you throw money in the wishing well. It was just such a romantic place. Our first date was Ray Anthony at the Stork Club. Now, they're not showing that big crystal ball that hung in the center, and you danced under the stars there, and it was just a very romantic place.
I want to point out the band. Some of you will know the house band there. Do you see it? Many heads are nodding. Johnny Downs.
Yes.
And he had a restaurant in London. Its name? Latin Quarter.
Yeah.
Hey, you folks are on top.
They got extra shoes. We got enough shoes.
There's more shoes. More shoes.
Gosh, we're going to run out.
Now, there is a rumor that Louis not dead. He's with Elvis. There is some talk he bought shoes here in '55. They never fit him.
Why didn't he get an X-ray?
Well, he's come back now,
Oh, okay.
and he will join us if we encourage him, and we encourage him by singing the first verse to his great song, "What a Wonderful World." Mark will lead us.
I see trees of
Green, red roses too.
I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Come on, Louis, come on. I see skies blue and clouds white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Sing along, children.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky,
It's beautiful.
are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do?
What are they saying?
They're really saying, I love you.
I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yes. Oh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. One more thing from the food, if you don't mind.
Well, I checked back there, you know, I checked my Twitter account. There's just a great demand for a special duet that is American and Canadian. And we had only one rehearsal this summer at the family reunion. But I have to go along with that. I'm sorry we haven't had time to really do a recent rehearsal, but I think my partner will come through. I just couldn't get over all the Twitters demanding, please, please, would you please? So, okay, pardon me? Yeah. Oh, all right, now, on the count of three, we have this special sound effects coming to you direct from LA. Yes, the gorilla Lisa is her name, and I'm from London. Oh yes, this always made my dad laugh, so it's in his honor. And on the count of three, I will answer your requests.
Okay,
Ready?
one, two, three. Hold it.
I know what you're saying. Here, go. Do it again.
1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Howard.
Gorilla from LA.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Hands off.
What's that?
Thanks for the heads off, Denise.
No, I don't want to come out.
Yeah, you go off, please.